Hey, what's up everyone? It's Jamie. So this is the probably the longest awaited for video, probably of anybody who's been following along for law school stuff. I'm finally going to talk about how to do well on law school exams, and I intentionally saved this video until after I was done with law school because I didn't want to give anybody any extra tips. Don't get me wrong, it's not that I'm not generous. I certainly am, talk to people about different things related to law school and share outlines and stuff like that. But I didn't want to give any big secrets until after I was done. So here it is. I'm going to give you the top ways to do well on a law school exam on the average across law schools. And this first one is on open book exams. If you're not already familiar, open book exams just typically mean that you can bring anything with you into the room. Usually it's still closed internet if you're using like a exam software on your computer, but usually you can bring whatever books you want, your own notes, or whatever. Sometimes it's just open note, which means your own notes, but either way, this applies. So what I would do to prepare for an exam that's open, book or open note is, I mean, it's kind of obvious, but you need to go to class. You need to write down, all the key things the teacher says. Use their lingo. Find like the key phrases they use. Write that down. After you've, been doing that in class, also make sure that whenever you read a case or even a short, clip of a case in your class, go on like Westlaw or Lexis-Nexis. Find the relevant headnotes or KeyCites. When you take those headnotes and KeyCites, you can pull them out into a Word document along with your other notes. Find the key important parts, put it together, take summaries, put it together for your exam. So now you have your information from the headnotes for different cases, and the KeyCites if you use Westlaw, different cases. You have your teacher's key stuff. Now you take your syllabus. Your syllabus is going to, your professor should be listing out the major heading topics as well as the cases that you're going to be going through. You take the syllabus, you turn it into an outline format. In other words, you take your syllabus and you use that as your chronological outline format. You fill in the information from the head notes and your class notes into those areas. Then you take your syllabus and you turn it also into a table of contents. So now you have your notes plus your and your syllabus laid out in a table of content format. And then there's two things to do. One, you have one notebook section that has like a lot more deeper information. In other words, much more coverage of facts and stuff like that. Then you have another one, the same syllabus style formatting, that has just the important major points. So you have two different types of outlines. One is one that has the in-depth information. The other that has like just kind of like the attack outline. Okay, and you got to make sure that you have a table of contents so that you can quickly reference these things inside of your big packet. Now that's really important. And some professors might try to scare you and say, "Oh, if you have to turn and flip for pages, you're in trouble." That's simply not true. Best thing you could possibly do for yourself is to make sure that you have comprehensive information that's easily accessible, that you can flip to immediately and copy out word for key holdings, especially when you're using professor's lingo or the head notes, the KeyCites, the biggest important parts of the case. Okay, so you got those two major aspects, and in addition to that, what you could also do is a hot word outline, which is basically key phrases or definitions that you can have in like a short sheet, like really small font, like 10-point font, bolded items on each of the the key terms, sometimes even key cases with just one line about the holding. Have that in the side too. It's basically what you want is you want something that's a quick reference for every little detail that you can go to, and you have it mapped out. All right, so if you got those things for open book, you're in really good shape. The only things you could possibly do is like pre-write quote-unquote answers. I didn't do that really too much. I didn't find the need to. I found better ways to still get high B's and A's just by using the aforementioned. You know what I mean? Just having a very well organized outline that you can quickly reference to a table of contents. Okay, and now here's the other kind of big secret part that some people don't know. Professors really value clarity and organization and spelling. And sometimes people forget that. If you're familiar with Myers-Briggs type indicator tests, I find that most professors tend to be INTJs, introverted, intuitive thinking, judging, which means they're usually big into detail. So one thing that I did or tried to do with all my exams is when I take the information and I lay out everything, when I read through a fact pattern, I make a short little note outline of like the little important things that need to be covered on some scratch paper. And then in my actual exam, I have everything bolded for each section and with subheadings if I need to. And then after I've written it, I go back, I read over what I wrote and make sure it sounds clear. And very often something sounds weird and I'll fix it and I'll correct any misspellings or something like that I typed in haste. And I have noticed consistently, the progression through my law school years, finessing this method, and my grades have, went from all right to much better as I was, as I was doing this, getting the content down pat and then getting the formatting down pat. You get those two things working for you together, you're going to usually have a high B to A or an A if you can have easily accessible content and you go through and you make sure that it's well written and organized. Some people they think that just writing and writing and writing and writing is going to get them an A. Some professors do this like checklist thing where they just give you a point for everything you write. Honestly, most professors don't like that. I've talked to several of my professors, and it's been all the same thing. They'd rather you be to the point, be clear, concise, have organized headings, because they're reading a ton of these papers, and they're going to be reading through some very sloppy work sometimes, or just people who want to write, because they just want to write everything they think they can get, for points. And sometimes there's this sweet relaxation for the eyes when they come across a paper that is, has headings, is well organized, and even if it doesn't elaborate on every little thing, it's just for them just easy to like go over real quick and see what you covered. And they'll just throw you extra points because it's like, oh, okay, this is no longer like straining my eyes. Like everything is spaced, the paragraphs are nice, there's headings, they like that, generally speaking. And of course, I'm talking from a limited perspective of my school, but my school has the same thing with almost every other school. Graduates from Ivy League schools, cited professors. All my professors are in the top end of those who are cited in law review articles and other types of academic publications. I come from a school where the faculty is very well renowned, and it's always been the same thing. So that's just my little tidbit on how to do well on an open book exam. So just recapping everything, make sure you have table of contents, that your outline has you paid attention in class, put down the things that your teacher said, and take down from any case that you cover whatsoever all the head notes that are important and all the key sites that are important. The summaries you can get from Westlaw or Lexis-Nexis. Kind of like a hot sheet of like key terms and phrases that you might want to use with their definitions when you write. And that when you write your paper, you want to make sure that there's headings that are bolded or underlined or italicized and organized well with spaces, and that you have paragraphs and you read everything for clarity and spelling, punctuation, everything, because professors do like that, because sometimes it gets to be a real pain in the butt when they're reading garbled junk, because someone thinks that they just need to write and just write till the end, and then after the hands are done bleeding, they just pass out, whatever. And so it's just something professors usually like: clarity, succinctness, organization. Most of them are going to be INTJs. It's just a fact of statistics based on what I've seen on professor MBTI profiles. So I hope that helps, and I'll cover some other stuff, especially with the closed book exam, the scary one, right? I'll cover some of that stuff too in another video. All right, take care.